Oh, loading, loading. Hello? I hope we're live. It's still loading. Oh, almost there. Okay, we are now live. Hello, hello, Facebook friends. So great to have you here today for this hashtag mini live. You know me, I always ask you, drop a hashtag mini live if you're watching us live. And if you're watching replay, hashtag replay in the comments. As you can see, it is not just me here today. I have a special guest, the lovely, the one and only Amanda. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on this mini live with me. For those that have not connected with you, in like a 1 minute spiel, who do you serve and how do you transform their lives?
I serve people of all ages, but I mostly work with women, and I help them heal the chronic conditions that they're just not getting relief from through either sources like pharmaceuticals, supplements, nutrition. We get down to the root cause and heal it so that their bodies can begin to thrive again.
So concise. I love that you perfected that. Nailed it. And
Thank you.
yes, Amanda and me have been connected, actually not for too long. In the grand scheme of things, it's not too long, since the beginning of this year. And we started working together in quarter one, I think towards the middle end of quarter
Mhm.
one. And it's interesting the way me and Amanda connected because I rarely do coffee chat calls. And I tell Amanda this, I rarely do coffee chat calls, but I just felt compelled to connect with Amanda. And I'm so glad I did because it's turned into this amazing partnership. I've experienced Amanda's work. I truly have never met anybody that serves in the way Amanda does. And it's so incredible to be able to work with her over these last few months and now have you on the live stream talking about kind of where you were at and now where you are and kind of what is the difference. So that kind of goes into my first question for you, which is if you're thinking back to like how you came into 2025, who you were, how you were showing up. We're mostly talking about Facebook here, but how you were showing up on Facebook. Who was that version of you? And what is different from that version of you at the beginning of the year to now who you are and the way you show up in your brand?
So the beginning of the year, I think, like probably a lot of health practitioners out there who are, energy healers, we're really good with our clients. Like we can get massive transformations. Like we can help people get healed from things that doctors say they'll never heal from. But then when it comes to Facebook and social media marketing, it's like I don't know what to say. Like, how do I talk about energy healing, which most people don't even know what the word energy means or the word frequency. I don't know how to talk about it. And then my other struggle was I have so many certifications. It was like I didn't know what to call myself because I have, like years and years and years of advanced training. And it was like, which one do I call myself? Do I call myself, this practitioner or this practitioner? Um, and so it was really challenging, especially because I was one of those that had built my business with like word of mouth referrals up through 2021 or so. And Facebook at that time, there weren't as many practitioners, there weren't as many coaches. And so, I could put out a post like, hey, I've got some openings this week and my calendar gets full. And then all of a sudden, in I'd say probably 2023 for sure, 2024, put the same post out and like nothing. And I'm like, what is happening? And I did not realize that marketing had changed, like how you talk about what you do, how you explain it to the average person had changed. And I was so lost and confused. Like I knew I'm good at what I do. I have tons and tons of stories for over 14 years of helping people heal, but how does that transfer into marketing?
And now what are you feeling like you're at? Like, do you feel your new title? Like, how are you embodying that and how is that reflecting now that you've solidified you're not, a coach? Or because I actually, a lot of people I'm talking to this year and since last year, a lot of people do not want to call themselves a coach because
Yeah,
they don't feel like it actually suits them. And they're not really liking the way other people are representing that title. So they're like, it doesn't
exactly.
really mirror what you do. So
Yeah.
can you explain about how, when you decided on your title, how that shifted the way you showed up?
It shifted big for me as a believer because as soon as, we were talking and you're like faith-driven chronic illness healer, I honestly felt like this sounds weird, but it felt like I floated down into my purpose. And it was like
Mm,
I had returned back to my purpose. And that was another thing is that in the healing world, since we'll just call it 2020, that word heal, don't do that. Like don't use that word. And so I
mm,
really blocked my calling and my purpose trying to like fit, like not get thrown off of Facebook. Well, I got thrown off of Facebook anyway last year. I just lost my account like randomly. So I'm like, it doesn't even matter. Like I'm still here. I'm still serving people. So whatever. So it really helped me feel really confident because it's like now I'm not worried about how many certifications I have and what I specialize in. It just brought it into this like clear, concise title, and I literally felt like I dropped into my purpose and calling, and I just felt more expansive and courageous and confident because it's like,
mm.
this is who I am. This is who God called me to be, and I'm returning back to that. No more hiding from anybody.
I love the way you describe that, like coming back to who you are called to be and really finding that alignment in the title because it seems so little, like maybe people thinking it doesn't really affect them, right? The title, like it's just a title and it doesn't really blend up, but it does affect the way you show up if you're not fully behind who you're calling yourself.
Yeah.
It's like that is going to dramatically affect everything you're doing
Yeah.
because when you show up on your stories or you're making a post or you're doing a sign off, you're doing a networking call, you're always labeling yourself as that. And if it's not in alignment, it's like you're literally labeling yourself who you don't feel aligned with.
Yeah.
So I love that we were able to establish that at the beginning and kind of also set the precedent for your community. Like, this is who I am,
Yeah.
and then being consistent with that. Because some people are also trading out a lot of names. Like sometimes they're calling themselves a mentor, sometimes they're calling themselves a coach, sometimes they're calling themselves an expert, or they're switching up their titles, and that lack of consistency is not supporting strengthening their brand because people
Yeah.
need to hear like, this is who I am, this is who I am, this is who I am. And now I think faith driven chronic illness, I'm thinking of Amanda. Like anything chronic illness, holistic health, like I know that's Amanda. And when you're constantly switching it up, it's hard to be known for that thing. So
Yes.
so being consistent in that and then seeing that reflect through the way you're showing up in all assets of your life is like huge. So we've mostly worked in Voxer together for our
Mhm.
time. Like we haven't really done, I don't know if we've done any like one-to-one call. Like we've done a check-in call, but our work has been through Voxer. So that's a messaging tool for those that haven't used it. It's just like Facebook Messenger, but off of Facebook. And so we're doing this consulting over there. Now, as you receive Voxer access, what do you think is the most helpful part of Voxer?
Think like getting help in real time is huge. Also, not having to schedule in another meeting is huge because we're all busy. It also helps with us being on such different time zones, um, to be able to like get the help, but not have to fill up the schedule. And I think it's just also being able to do it at my pace too.
Mhm.
It's like I've got like 5 messages of yours to listen to, like where you responded, but I know I have to have I prefer to have my Emily book because I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take notes and then I'm going to implement. So I love also just being able to do that when I know, okay, I've got 30 minutes to sit down, listen, implement, and do it. And it might be at 5 o'clock in the morning, it might be at 9 o'clock at night. So that's very, very helpful. Just to have like this ongoing working on this project, get it done, working on the next project versus sitting in a 60-minute appointment where I feel like things can get lost. Like I might not write down everything you say and then I lose it. So I think it's much more beneficial for me to get these nuggets. Okay, I'm working on this project, get the support and the feedback from this part of it, move on to the next and the next and the next, and just keep going.
I love that you said that as well, because what happens when you have calls like scheduled in, like, let's say every 2 week, it doesn't really necessarily suit the stage of business you're in or your schedule, because it's like some weeks you may be more on like a push, and then some weeks you may be more on like a pullback. And so it meets you where you're at. Like, I know we've gone through, weeks where it's like, go, go, go. And that's the momentum that you're in. And then
Mhm.
some weeks it's a little bit more like things are happening, but it's less
Yes.
like pushing. And so it honors like every client no matter where they're at. And it's not like, for all my clients, it's not always the same. It's not like all my clients are always slow paced. It's like it goes with the
Yeah.
ebbs and flows, right? It's like some weeks, some days. Um, so I love that, yeah, it flows at the pace you're at, and it doesn't get ahead of you. Where
Right.
calls sometimes can be like so much information, it gets ahead of you, and then you're at the next call and you haven't fully implemented what was on the last one,
Yes.
and then it like piles up. So yeah, I totally, totally agree. And then as for your recent pick your brain sessions, I want to talk a little bit about that, because I know a lot of the women in my world are the heart-centered ones, are the ones who love to give, they want to be of service. And with that, there tends to be the habit of oversharing or answering all the questions in the DMs. And it's super frustrating when you feel like you've nurtured leads possibly for months. It's like answering all their questions, and then it never ends up like actually working with you. And of course, we know that working with you directly is how they're going to get the best transformation. So
Yeah.
it's like, we want to think about how can we be of service is actually having them work with us directly. That is being of service, that is being valuable. So we I briefly talked about on my stories last week these pick your brain sessions, which are usually 30 to 60 minutes, and it's basically a call where they can ask you anything. And so I know you've had the experience where you're answering all the questions, and then it's like, okay, you want to book, and then it's like, it doesn't really go anywhere, what's happening? So since implementing that, what have you found? Like, how has the response been? And how do you feel about it? Because I know some people at the beginning are like, I want to answer their questions first. So, what are your thoughts on that and actually implementing it?
So I will say, yeah, I was one of those that historically would spend hours answering like one person over months that never booked a call. And it was so disheartening because I did answer a lot of their questions, but they didn't get to the meat of what I do. So some of those things, like, yes, we can talk about supplements and nutrition, but that's not the root cause. Like that's not the root. That is a tool, a support, but you still have to heal the root cause. And so they would miss that. It would be very disheartening that I never got to help them get that transformation. Um, and as a practitioner, a healer, or whatever you call yourself, it's also not validating to to yourself in what you do, because then you start questioning yourself, because you're like, why didn't that person book? Like, I could have helped them. And so not a great model to do that. And so when I brought in the Pick Amanda's Brain call, it has been so rewarding, because a lot of people aren't possibly ready yet to heal, but they are at the point of maybe taking a supplement, starting with a tool. So it meets people where they are, where maybe they're not ready to let go of the trauma, or they're not even ready to understand that they're in fight or flight right now. Like, that's too much for them, but they
Mhm.
are willing to hear maybe they need a little more protein in their diet, or maybe they could get their fiber through um, beans and chia seeds and flax seeds this week, like little baby steps. So it really meets people where they are. And it's been so fun, because those tools, I love that stuff. I get geeked out on helping someone, like, all right, so let's fix your macros so that they're supporting your body. Or, let's get you on the right magnesium, muscle testing them, like, nope, that magnesium's not right. This is the one that you need. So it's super fun and rewarding for me to help them with those steps. Like, oh, you need uh tea tree oil this week. Do you have tea tree oil? Or, your body wants avocados this week, or whatever. So that's like the fun, playful part, in my opinion. And sometimes that's where people are. That's what they can handle right now. And so I love that it meets them where they are, and gives them a taste of what can happen when we, check in with your body, tune into your body, and find out what it needs. So it's been very fun and rewarding, and each appointment is so different from the next appointment. So it's just so fun and flavorful. Um, I really enjoy them. They're they're really fun appointments.
I'm so glad that you enjoy them. And yeah, I think there's such a great option for people that have questions that are maybe unrelated, or you don't have a specific offering for them. So, for example, maybe they have three questions. One is like around nutrition, one's around like a muscle pain they're experiencing, and then one's around something else. It's like there's not a specific offering you have for those very specific questions, but it's
Yeah.
like this is the call to book for your random questions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
um, and it's then when you pitch that offer in the DMs, there's no saying this isn't the right fit for me, because it's literally whatever you want it to be. You're getting the answers
Yeah.
to what you're asking. That's
Yeah.
what makes it a no-brainer for people that have questions, want those questions answered. It's not you having to redirect them to an offer to talk about how that offer is going to help them with these things, and then they're questioning, but will these questions be answered? Because like this is the session where your
Mhm.
questions will be answered.
Yeah. Because in a healing at the root session, we go deep, and like, how much can we get healed in one session? And we can often, we peel back such layers, but it can take an hour to peel back that, yeah, we can run out of time for those additional things that we would not have had time to cover. So it's a great, yeah, even after an appointment like that, like a few weeks later, like, oh, I don't know about this or that. It's a great call. Hop on a 30-minute call, get random questions answered.
Mhm. Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing a bit of your journey and
Right.
knowledge here. For those that want to connect and hear more about the work you do, what is the best way they can connect? And do you have some sort of free offer or community that they can come into?
Yes. So they can connect with me either here on Facebook and send me a message. My website is confidentlyjoyful.com. And I do have an offer for women called Your Turn to Rise. And it's a 7-day free experience where if you're looking for your purpose, you're looking for passion, you feel stuck in your life, whether it's stuck in business growth or stuck in health growth or stuck in relationships, you just feel like there's just this block and you're ready to move forward. It's 7 days with 7 emails, 7 videos, and 7 days of Voxer support. And I would love for you to take that gift if that resonates with you.
Amazing. So I'll have Amanda after this live stream drop the link to that offer in the comments. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you want to pick Amanda's brain, just message her. I want to pick your brain. And you can have that 30-minute session to ask her anything. She has such cool stories. Like, honestly, I should just schedule a pick your brain to talk about your stories of like your client transformations, like in Voxers. I'm just like amazed. I'm like, she's witnessed this kind of healing. Like, it's amazing. So you guys have to
Yeah.
go connect. And yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
Amanda.
you.
We'll speak soon in Boxer.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.